What I'm about to tell you happened behind palace walls in 1987, and it's the moment that changed everything for the British royal family. Picture this. Kensington Palace, 11:47 p.m. The grand state dinner is winding down. Champagne glasses clink in the distance. Important people in expensive clothes are making important small talk. But here's what they don't show you in the documentaries. Princess Diana, the people's princess, the woman the world adored, is locked in a bathroom. Not just any bathroom. The ornate powder room on the second floor, the one with golden fixtures and mirrors that have witnessed more royal secrets than any tabloid could imagine. And she's crying. Not the pretty single-tear kind of crying you see in movies. This is raw, gut-wrenching sobbing that makes her whole body shake. Why is the most beloved woman in the world falling apart in a palace bathroom? Let me take you back 3 hours earlier. The evening started like any other royal obligation. Diana stood in front of her vanity, watching her lady-in-waiting fasten a sapphire necklace around her neck. The same sapphire that matched her engagement ring. The same sapphire that once belonged to Charles's great-grandmother. "You look radiant, Your Royal Highness," the lady-in-waiting said. Diana stared at her reflection. 26 years old, mother of 2, Princess of Wales, and completely, utterly alone. "Do I?" she whispered. In the mirror she could see the truth her public image couldn't hide. The weight loss, the hollow look in her eyes, the way she had to practice her smile before every public appearance. "Tonight will be different," she told herself. "Tonight I'll try." The dinner was going well. Diana worked the room like the professional she'd become. She spoke fluent French with the ambassador's wife. She laughed at the right moments during the Home Secretary's tedious story about tax reform. She even managed to look interested when Lord Pemberton explained his new hunting lodge in Scotland. But then she saw her. Camilla Parker Bowles stood near the grand piano, wearing a black evening gown that hugged her curves in all the right places. Her honey-colored hair was swept up in an elegant chignon. She was laughing, really laughing at something someone had said, and Charles was watching her. Diana had developed a sixth sense for this. She could feel it across a crowded room. The way Charles's eyes would find Camilla. The way his whole body would lean toward her like a plant reaching for sunlight. "Don't look," Diana commanded herself. "Just don't look." But she couldn't help it. It was like watching a car accident in slow motion. "Diana, darling." Camilla's voice cut through the classical music like a blade. "You look absolutely stunning tonight." Diana turned, plastering on her practiced smile. "Camilla, how lovely to see you." They air-kissed. The crowd around them continued their conversations, oblivious to the fact that they were witnessing one of the most complicated love triangles in modern history. "That dress is divine," Camilla continued, her eyes scanning Diana's ivory silk gown. "Versace?" "Yes." Diana's voice was barely audible above the string quartet. "I remember when Charles first mentioned you were wearing Versace. He said you looked like a Greek goddess." Camilla's smile was warm, genuine even. "Of course, that was before I knew how much you loved Italian designers." "Before you knew," the words hung in the air between them. Diana felt something cold settle in her stomach. "I'm sorry?" "Oh, didn't Charles tell you?" Camilla's laugh was light, musical. "We've been talking about you. About how well you've adapted to royal life. It can't be easy, can it? All this protocol, all these rules." Diana's hands began to tremble. She clasped them behind her back. "We were just saying," Camilla continued, "how important it is that you have support, people who understand what you're going through. There it was again. "That's very kind of you both to be so concerned," Diana managed. "Of course we're concerned, darling. Your family. The word hit Diana like a physical blow. She thought of her own family. Her father who barely called, her mother who lived in Argentina, her brother who was too busy with his own life to notice hers falling apart. And here was Camilla, talking about we and family while wearing the smile of someone who had already won. Diana excused herself and made it exactly 14 steps before she had to stop. The corridor was spinning. Her corset was too tight. The chandelier above her head was too bright. "Breathe," she told herself. Just breathe. But she couldn't. Because suddenly, it all made sense. The late-night phone calls Charles thought she didn't know about. The way he'd started wearing cologne again. The business trips that seemed to require more and more time away from home. The way Camilla had said we like she and Charles were the real couple, and Diana was just what? The obligation. The pretty face for the cameras? Diana thought about her sons, sleeping peacefully in their beds upstairs. William, with his father's eyes and her stubborn chin. Harry, with his wild red hair and infectious giggle. What kind of world am I raising them in? The bathroom door closed behind her with a soft click. Diana turned the lock and immediately felt the mask she'd been wearing all evening crumble away. She gripped the marble countertop and looked at herself in the mirror. The woman staring back at her was a stranger. Perfect makeup, perfect hair, perfect jewelry, and completely, utterly broken. "I can't do this," she whispered to her reflection. The words echoed in the empty room. For a moment, she thought she might throw up. The combination of champagne, anxiety, and the crushing weight of realization was too much. How long has this been going on? She wondered. How long have I been the fool? She thought about her wedding day, the fairy tale that a billion people had watched on television, the 25-foot train, the horse-drawn carriage, the kiss on the balcony. Had Charles been thinking about Camilla even then? Diana sank onto the small velvet chair in the corner of the bathroom, the one meant for ladies to sit while they touched up their lipstick, and she let herself fall apart. The sobs came from somewhere deep inside her chest. All the loneliness, all the pretending, all the nights she'd lain awake wondering what was wrong with her, why she wasn't enough. I should be living my life, not performing it. There was a soft knock on the door. "Diana?" Charles's voice, muffled by the heavy wood. She froze. How long had she been in here? 5 minutes? 20? "Diana, are you all right? People are asking for you. People are asking for you. Not I'm worried about you. Not I was looking for you because I missed you." "I'm fine," she called out, surprised by how steady her voice sounded. "Just touching up my makeup." "Well, hurry up. The ambassador wants to take photos." She heard his footsteps retreat down the hall. Diana looked at herself in the mirror again. Her mascara had run. Her lipstick was gone. Her carefully styled hair was slightly mussed. But something else had changed too. Something in her eyes. For the first time in months, maybe years, she saw herself clearly. Not the princess, not the wife, not the mother. Just Diana, and she made a decision. Diana spent the next 10 minutes carefully repairing the damage. She blotted away the mascara stains. She reapplied her lipstick. She smoothed her hair back into place. But she didn't put the mask back on. When she finally emerged from the bathroom, she was still Princess Diana. She still smiled at the ambassador. She still posed for photos. She still played her role. But inside, something fundamental had shifted. She began to notice things she'd been blind to before. The way Charles and Camilla stood just a little too close. The way they finished each other's sentences. The way they looked at each other when they thought no one was watching. "I'm not crazy," she realized. "I'm not paranoid. I'm not imagining things. I'm just finally seeing the truth." The evening ended as all royal evenings do, with polite goodbyes and promises to see each other again soon. Diana shook hands and air-kissed and thanked people for coming. But when Camilla approached her to say goodbye, something different happened. "Thank you for a lovely evening," Camilla said, extending her hand. Diana looked at the hand, then at Camilla's face, then at Charles, who was watching from across the room. "You're welcome," Diana said, taking Camilla's hand in both of hers. "You know, I think we should have lunch sometime. Just the two of us. I'd love to get to know you better." Camilla's smile faltered for just a moment. "Oh well, yes. That would be lovely. Wonderful. I'll have my secretary call yours." As Camilla walked away, Diana felt something she hadn't felt in months. Power. That night, after the last guest had left, and the staff had cleaned up the champagne glasses, Diana sat in her private sitting room. She'd changed out of her evening gown, and into a simple nightgown. Her hair was down, falling in waves around her shoulders. Charles had gone to his study to catch up on correspondence. Diana didn't ask what kind of correspondence required attention at 1 a.m. She picked up her phone and dialed a number she'd memorized but never used. "Hello?" The voice was groggy, confused. "It's Diana. I'm sorry to call so late, but I need to ask you something." "Diana? Is everything all right? That journalist friend of yours, the one who's been wanting to interview me about life in the royal family." There was a pause. "Yes? Set up a meeting. Are you sure? The palace will never approve." "I'm not asking the palace for permission." Another pause. Longer this time. "Diana, what's happened?" Diana looked out her window at the gardens below. In a few hours, the sun would rise. Her sons would wake up. Another day would begin. But it would be different now. She would be different now. "I've decided to stop pretending," she said quietly. "And I think it's time the world knew the truth." Here's what happened next that changed everything. That phone call led to the most explosive royal interview in history. The lunch with Camilla never happened, because Diana had already begun planning her counterstrike. But the real story isn't about revenge or scandal. It's about a moment of clarity in a palace bathroom. a moment when a young woman realized that being loved by the world meant nothing if she couldn't love herself. Diana never forgot that night. Years later, when she was finally free to be herself, she would tell friends that everything changed in that bathroom. Not because she discovered her husband's affair, she'd known about that for months, but because she finally stopped believing it was her fault. The woman who walked out of that bathroom wasn't the same person who'd walked in. She was still Princess Diana, but more importantly, she was Diana, and that made all the difference.